each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Hope you're having a good day. Woke up in a pissy mood, man. Pissier than usual. So I even asked God to start my day over. So I just don't want to be in a bad mood, but you know. Did I say it's not always easy to be in a bad mood? I think that's what I said. I believe that's what I said. Yep. I'm going to need to get a fan. I'm warmed up again today here in Colorado. We got our 6 p.m. meeting tonight. Got our 6 p.m. meeting. So I'm good. I have another meeting going too, and it kind of frustrates me because now I'm having people that are like, well, I know that person and I don't know that I like them. And you know what? We're going to have to put all that shit aside, man. We're going to have to put all that shit aside. Okay, there needs to be an understanding that there was a group of people out there that was trying to divide people. They were trying to divide people. So let's put the responsibility where it belongs and on the people that tried to divide you, man. Gotta learn to have hard conversations. And tell you right now, I wouldn't have several of my friends right now if it wasn't for me saying, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, we need to talk. And the thing is, if you're not honest with me, I can't be your friend because you won't allow me to be. And I know that you're going through that because I went through it. See, these are all, well, no. What? It's like recording everything I'm doing. It wants to turn it into AI. Too many buttons to press. And I'm a boy, and I will press those buttons. All right. My cats think they're starving. They've been out of food for like 3 hours. We're going to be in the big book, page 134. Today's not really a day I need to zero out. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching live or the rewatch, this is today's daily reflection. I added on and the lives of others because there's some important things that we need to talk about. Thing is, I talk about these important things, but if nobody's here, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because yeah, I have some rewatchers, but not so many rewatchers that it's going to make much of a difference. All right. How about we just stop letting the government take control of AA? How about we just stop it? Well, we don't have any say on outside issues. No, but we very much have say on inside issues. And the inside issue is that we're letting people come into the room and take people out of the fucking program. So just make them closed meetings. You got to batten down the hatches a little bit, man. Okay. See, there's ways that this gets done. I'll use the homeless as an example. Okay. Now, sure, I want to help people coming in from other countries. Sure. I don't even know what to call them anymore. We'll just call them people from other countries. How about that? Yeah. Immigrants. Sure. Am I against immigrants? No. But I am for us first. So, all right. Looks like we're going to have somebody with us today. So I'll have to calm my shit down. What up? What do you want? Morning, Daryl. Good to see you. All right. So it says we're on page 134, but that's about sex relations. So I'm going back. I don't talk about sex here. I don't do politics and I don't do sex.
Party pooper.
Yeah, I know.
Every party needs a pooper. That's why we invited you. Party pooper. Okay.
Don't sing for more than 8 seconds or my video will get cut.
Oh,
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
I'll put it on 78 speed.
Yeah. A lot of people won't know what that means. So kind of like backmasking. Yeah. All right. There's Iron Maiden is known for their, people think that they're actually very spiritual guys. They don't do drugs or anything else, right? But there's a part on one of their songs where it's backmasked. And if you do it backwards, it says, "These are good mashed potatoes and chicken too." That's all it says.
Well, the Beatles have number 9, number 9, number 9.
Yeah. I just thought the other one.
Do you know that ICP doesn't do drugs and they are spiritual?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of juggalos don't even know that.
Yeah, it's if you listen to their music, they talk about God and spirituality quite a lot.
They do a lot of benefit work.
Yeah. Well, that's what we call humility. That's exactly what humility is. I love, like John Bon Jovi. I'm not a huge Bon Jovi fan. I mean, Living on a Prayer sure was a lot of fun to chase chicks with. But, great guy. I mean, he has restaurants for homeless people. He doesn't say anything about it. He doesn't need to. He does it because it feels good. Hi, Amber. It's good to see you. I'm glad my friends are here. I needed them today. So I woke up kind of in a bad mood. So I'm trying to, and not for any reason. So I'm just
I had a nap overnight, so I get it.
Oh, you finally got some. Oh, you had a nap.
No, I had a nap. The night before, I got sleep. Last night didn't happen again.
Yeah, I got sleep. I don't know. All right.
Anyway.
So this is a good reading. We have been speaking to you of serious, sometimes tragic things. We have been dealing with alcohol in its worst aspect, but we are not a glum lot. That's where I need to be today. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. Thank you, God. Thank you. We try not to indulge in the cynicism over the state of the nations, nor do we carry the world's troubles on our shoulders. And that's what I'm doing. See, right now, I found out that the government doesn't want AA involved at all, and I'm very upset about it. So now I want to go out there and be like, hey, everybody, do you know what they're doing? And
talking about mental health.
I'm talking about recovery. I'm talking about AA. I'm talking about treatment. I'm talking about the sober livings, the recovery coaching. All of it is government run. And if you looked at their new test, it says things like alcoholics need to learn how to stay in their own lane.
Their test. Text. TEXTS.
Test. TEST. Their test to become a CAS.
Oh, really? CAC 1?
Specialist.
Really? Why have a test for it if they don't want you?
Because they want to teach you a different way. Yeah. Yeah, sure. my point on that is it's not, in a way, it's none of my fucking business. You know, so the choice today is, do I think of the government, or should I just go ahead and be wrong and happy? And I think I'm going to go with happy today. You know, it's still happening, but I can't change. I can't change
Put
the
mine on
world.
too.
And when I try, I get angry. So when we see a man sinking into the mire that is alcoholism, we give him first aid and place what we have at his disposal. For his sake, we do recount and almost relive the horrors of our past. But those who have had tried to shoulder the entire burden and trouble of others find we are soon overcome by them. Yes. So that's why I gotta have that balance in there. See, you know, that's why I gotta have a sponsor and closed mouth friends and things. That's why the people in my life matter. They keep me accountable so that I don't sit there and try and take the entire burden of, you know, and intentionally overwhelm myself so I can act the way that I want to. Because that's really what I'm going for, right? What is that? What do we call that? Justifiable anger? Yeah. That's exactly what we call it, right? Here comes the fun part, though. So we think cheerfulness and laughter make for usefulness. Outsiders are sometimes shocked when we burst into merriment over a seemingly tragic experience out of the past. But why shouldn't we laugh? We have recovered and have been given the power to help others. You know, once I figured out that my triggers were my responsibility, this helped so much, especially with my PTSD. And that's exactly what I'm working with right here as a trigger for my PTSD. And this is how I have to work it. I have to do a little bit of work to get myself back online. But gosh, that 10, 15 minutes is worth it because I have the rest of the day ahead of me, right? So, go ahead and talk. I need a breather.
I don't know what to say. You know, it is funny though, because you know, other drunks, when you go into a story, a memory, like especially in early recovery, when we stubbed our toes more than we do now.
Yeah.
And we just laugh, usually because somebody else has also done something very similar to it, type crap.
Yep.
And then you'll have that fifth wheel hanging around the table or something like that, and they'll be like a dog when they hear a weird noise, type of deal.
No,
So,
that was bad. Why are we laughing? And
right,
you know, you'll go into an AA meeting and we'll call each other names and laugh. Because
right.
it happens all the time. The other day, there was a guy and I were flipping each other off, but it was because we were having fun. You know, you know, what's the other option? Get angry, you know?
And they do. Believe me, they do.
Oh, sure. But you know, that fourth and fifth step provide that freedom. You know, the whole thing provides that freedom so that we can take a look at ourselves and, you know, because then what happens is later in life, you know, something will come out of my mouth that'll be a bad idea, and I need to be able to laugh about it because it's just because I'm over here being human.
I changed the description in the group a little bit, and I added another question that has to be answered to join. I did it for a reason. It's like one of the things that I have in there is you can't just post a picture or a meme or a link without personalizing it. Why is it important to you? Something, you know? And inevitably, I'll get these people that'll just do drive-by, you know, post it, go. And then they don't even pay attention to it to see if they get a response type crap. So I put in there that, you know, are you an alcoholic? You have to answer yes. Do you agree to read the announcements, that kind of thing? And then you have to agree to read the rules.
Yeah.
And the new one I threw in there, and that's just a check mark, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a yes, no. on the other things, but on the other one, the last one I put in there is what is our third rule? I just want the title. I don't care if you cut and paste it, but it make people actually go in there and actually read that.
You made some action out of it.
Well, it's I can't tell you how many times I have to go through this, and not just me, my admins too, go through that stuff and remove it. And when we remove it, there's a chat box in there. You tell them why you removed it and blah, blah, blah type stuff. I mean, it's just got some labor to it. Not huge, but it's just a pain in the ass when you get enough people in there. Yeah. So this guy messages me. Well, he said something on mine, kind of snarky. And then he messaged me telling me, who did I think that I was?
Oh, well,
I'm just another bozo on the bus, but I created this fucking group, motherfucker.
Yeah, go start yours.
Yeah. Exactly, and then I started it because I didn't like the shit that I was seeing.
Correct. Yeah, and he doesn't have to stay in your group. He can go start his own AA closed group with the rules that he wants.
Right. Well, that isn't the traditions. That isn't blah 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 type crap. And it's like there isn't an online group on the planet that is recognized by AAWS at this point.
No.
We are not sanctioned by AA.
No,
so yes,
there
are rules.
We're not sanctioning it. Yeah. So and I get that sometimes too, where people come here and your podcast is breaking tradition. You're breaking, and I'm not breaking tradition. Now, and that's a good point because, like the podcast, I'll put in your group because it's AA. This is not necessarily AA. So I don't post it in your group. It's a little different and it doesn't quite match the rules. Right. So I don't put it in your group, but I'm in your group and I participate.
Well, and the only part of that was because we need seventh tradition type thing, donations or whatever, what have you. And so we have a no fundraising kind of rule because and I get a slew of those.
Sure you do, because it's
like well, GoFundMe's out the yin yang for this or that or whatever the case may be. And the great causes, wonderful causes, some of them. Sure. Not allowed. So it's just the way it is, But it's like, that we'll talk about that kind of stuff and we'll laugh, And how many times have you ever kind of went into your story with an outsider?
Yeah.
They're like uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I had a guy who he's put out a book and he's trying, but I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so his birthday's coming up and he starts doing a countdown in my group to his birthday.
To his birthday?
I deleted them. I deleted them. I'm like, we don't know. But it's your birthday. Say something. We're not going to do a countdown in my group for your birthday. That's not what we do.
No front.
And he doesn't post there anymore. I'm like, okay, your intentions were wrong. But if you have a company and you just post it there and you don't ask me, I automatically remove it. It doesn't matter whether I support it or not. It doesn't follow the rules. So let's get back to this.
Go ahead. We got way off topic, and it's a good topic.
Yeah, it's still a good topic because it does it goes to referencing on how we work with people, and that sometimes we have to laugh with those things. So we think cheerfulness and laughter. But why shouldn't we laugh? We have recovered and been given the power to help others, and I think that's a pretty big thing. And when we come in as a group and we do that in fun ways, it's pretty cool. Everybody knows that those in bad health and those who seldom play do not laugh much. So let each family play together or separately as much as their circumstances warrant. We are sure God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a vale of tears, though it once was for many of us. But it is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery, but if trouble comes, cheerfully capitalize it as an opportunity to demonstrate his omnipotence. Woo!
To answer your question, Amber, I don't. If you know anybody who needs a washer dryer.
I asked you to make it share. You know, if the sober livings would talk to me, I'd have it taken care of for you. I could ask my liaison though for you, and maybe we can give it to a sober living, even though they don't like us. That's all right. We can still help the people.
Well, neither does the government. So, oh well.
Yeah, give it to the government. They need it. All right, but yeah, you know, my life was miserable, and I never really had a. You know, most alcoholics don't even really have a childhood. So when we get recovered, did he? Okay, I must have missed it. I'll go back and look. But um, now I have a chance to go to areas and try and make them better. I'm not the best at this, and I'm trying to get better at it, at approaching things a little bit differently. You know, I'm a pretty straightforward guy, but sometimes I could be a little too blunt. So I need to figure out how to be, you know, in a way, yeah. Trust me, I some people, you know, let's talk about this because I kind of, in a way, feel like if I change my words, I'm appeasing people, and I don't want to do that either. Yesterday, I
Well,
made a statement saying that I only support 12 steps now, and people argued with me, and I was a little pissed by that. I was a little upset by that. So,
have you done any Dale Carnegie?
no.
How to win friends and influence people? If you want to get your way, we appease.
Yeah, and I don't want to get my way.
Well, evidently.
I want what's right. I don't want what Dion wants. Dion wants to burn the world down, man.
It's the art of war.
Yeah, now yes, I did read that. Yes, a very, very long time ago. So that's why I did.
When the original Shogun,
I don't remember it, is what I'm saying. I don't remember.
When the original Shogun came on, I read it.
Okay, now that I remember that movie, and that was a good movie. Now, was it a movie or a series?
That was a movie.
Yeah, the original one that came out like the.
Now it's a series.
Okay, all right, that's why it's
on Netflix.
As you get older, life gets a little more confusing, people. So you got to work things out.
Well, you know, in basically, and I'll kind of expound on that because it is topical to us.
Absolutely.
And as much as what we're trying to accomplish,
sure.
You can't go in with your heels dug in if you want to get what you need.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're just going to get stonewalled because while you might be correct, some people won't think you are, and it might be the decision maker that is taking that viewpoint.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there are times when, like, I'll just use Adams County. I have to talk to them a little differently.
Exactly.
Is it an appeasement? Yeah, but because what I want is important. Is it wrong? Am I being codependent?
It's a conciliation.
There we go. I kind of, you know, now if I'm doing that, and if I can change it to where maybe I'm trying to meet them where they're at so that I can say what I need to say, you know, can we do it that way? Is that appeasement? Yeah. And
it's a conciliation.
I'm asking.
It's called diplomacy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, my brain isn't going that way today, so I
get it, man. Because I was in sales for most of my adult life.
That's why it all makes sense to me. What you're saying, probably why you and I get along so well because we're in sales too. You know, it's kind
of like sometimes you have to mirror the person that you're talking to.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't mean that you roll over and you just flat out take their. It's like that. I hate that statement. The customer is always right because they're not.
No, that's correct. I think more like, so if we go to the Jerry. We in sales we call it the Jerry Maguire. Help
Yeah.
me help you.
Right.
Is what
Well,
and how
there's
we approach that, because I don't know how many times I've heard, Dion, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, and they were correct.
and I've done that so often. I can't even tell you exactly that. But there's a book out there from the group of 1 Minute Manager series,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Spin Selling. And what you do is you find that point of pain,
Yeah.
and then you stick your finger in it, and then you add salt to the wound, and then you come up with your solution.
Yeah. Isn't there a takeaway in that also, where you take it away and then you give the solution?
That's reverse selling.
Yeah, okay.
I worked for a company. I worked for a company called General Steel, and they did those outbuildings, clear span buildings. And
I worked for them for about a week. Couldn't stand those fuckers.
over on our, what is that, Continental over there off of Wadsworth.
No, they had a location off of Hampton and I-25 for a little while too.
That wasn't General Steel. I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Same thing. It's like people would call in and say, you won't be able to afford this. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, and then you piss them off. Say, I can too. Do it.
Yeah. What was even harder was oil and gas. I did oil and gas for 2 months. Great fucking money. Oh, bank. But you got to be a solid motherfucker. And I had that too hands-on-y approach for oil and gas. I gave a fuck, and it didn't.
My ex-father-in-law was a landman.
Yeah, that's hard work, man. I have a friend who's great at it. Well, I don't know that we're necessarily friends, because he's really great at that, which means he's still drinking. I ended up in jail at one point. I met the biggest white guy that I could, and we became very good friends. I know how to work jail. All right, now about health. A badly body burned by alcohol does not often recover overnight, nor do twisted thinking and depression vanish in a twinkling. No, they don't. I woke up with twisted thinking this morning, but we know how to get out of it. I know how to get out of it, and that's what's cool. We are convinced that the spiritual mode of living is the most powerful health restorative. I absolutely believe this. We who have recovered from serious drinking are miracles of mental health, but we have seen remarkable transformations in our bodies. Hardly one of our crowd now shows any mark of dissipation. I was yellow when I walked in, the color of this fucking book when I walked in here, man. Now, and it isn't, when we decide that we need to work on our spiritual malady, miracles just start to happen. What should take 2 or 3 years happens in months in AA. So go ahead.
Are they miracles, or is that the perception, or is it because we're not doing the things that we used to do that other things actually do happen? And we look at it as, oh my God, that how did that happen? Well, you weren't fucking it up.
When it helps when God takes away the obsession to drink, because then this stuff can start to happen for us.
Well, I believe in miracles, but I was just saying.
But yeah, and people remember here, sometimes we're just playing devil's advocate. We're playing the other side because we're trying to get to an answer.
Or trying to get to a discussion.
Yeah.
Or something like,
Yeah, and the title doesn't always match what we talk about, but it's always God based. We're just looking for answers. I mean, and everybody here even Amber was like, fucking salespeople. Why? Because she's in sales,
I sold cars for a decade, Amber.
Yeah. She does toner. So, all right.
Unique.
Excuse me. Where are we trying to get to in all this? Okay.
Hopefully laughter.
All right. But this does not mean we disregard human health measures. God has abundantly supplied us with fine doctors, psychologists, practitioners of various kinds. All right, let's talk about professionals. The responsibility statement was made for the professionals, but the professionals do not come in until we are sober. Sometimes we might have a professional before that, but I mean, how are you going to tell your doctor?
Meaning what?
Meaning what?
Who?
What? Who? What?
Meaning what? What? What
You're going to
professionals
argue with
come
me
in?
today? Huh?
What professionals come in after we get sober?
That's going to depend on a need. I can't predict that. Probably.
You're talking about outside people, like mental
Yes,
health and
sure.
okay.
Yeah, that's what
I
God is.
didn't. I wasn't following, so that's why I
God
asked.
has a. No wonder you were like, why, what?
Right.
And I was just
It was
fucking
like,
with it, so.
yeah.
Yeah, what they're saying is once we've recovered that, we still need that AA isn't the only thing you need, is what they're saying. You need a primary care physician. Some of us might need a therapist, but now that we're honest, these people actually work for us. So that what they supply can actually work for us now. Before, when I was drinking, I had a therapist. It isn't going to work very well because I'm a liar. So do not
I did that. No, I'm
What?
sorry. I was cross talking.
No, no worries. Do not hesitate to take your health problems to such person. Most of them give freely of themselves, that their fellow may enjoy sounds of mind and bodies. Try to remember that though God has wrought miracles among us, we should never belittle a good doctor or psychiatrist. Their services are often indispensable in treating a newcomer in following his case afterwards. You bet. You bet. Um, let's say you're detoxing from alcoholism while these doctors are the only ones, and they get to decide whether or not they give you these meds that will help you get off of alcohol. Now, if they give you meds, you cannot taper. There's no tapering. So it's either taper or meds. Okay. Either way is going to suck. But that's really going to be up to you. Okay. I think what we're trying to say is the people in AA are not doctors. We're not. And yesterday I made a post of my kind of my intentions. I'm a certified recovery coach. I'm a certified peer support specialist, but I don't talk about it because then I'm not allowed to bring in God. I'm not allowed to do AA, so I leave it out. It doesn't matter. I'm not. I'm a peer. Just because I have a certificate for a peer support specialist doesn't change. It doesn't provide anything. I already knew it. It was like boring actually getting my certificate because I was a drug and alcohol counselor at 20, you know. So there was somebody earlier that said to me, a good therapist can tell when you're lying. And I just laughed because I was not going to respond to that because I took it as a challenge. It's like, okay, fine, let's talk. Oh, and you could say that out loud. That's private chat.
Oh, I don't know what that was. Is that to you?
Yeah, that's to me only.
Oh, it says I can talk to you or others. Anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reverse roles, and I'm gonna have to figure that out for you. So, that's pretty much it. But what Daryl used to sell toners and copiers and fix them and stuff.
Premier Copier it was called.
Yeah, the copier guy, and you never piss off the copier guy. I can tell you that right now. One of many doctors who had this opportunity of reading the book in manuscript form told us the use of sweets was often helpful. Of course, depending on doctor's advice. Yeah, if you're coming off alcohol,
Hey,
sugar. The roses are in the house. Hi, Angel. Now, when they're both here, they'll say something, and I always mix them up. Now, Amber's green today. Angel's red. It was backwards the other day. All right. he thought all alcoholics should constantly have chocolate available for its quick energy at times of fatigue. He added it with occasional and night, a vague craving arose which could be satisfied. Many of us have noticed a tendency to eat sweets and found this practice beneficial. All right, I'm going to skip the next paragraph. Fuck it, we'll do it. A word about sex relations. I'm not talking on it. I'm still too shy. Alcohol is so sexually stimulating to some men that they have overindulged. That's me. My brain to this day cannot separate it. Might as well just talk about it because other men and people are going through it. Yeah. I'm not going to go into the deep depths, but I very, very much have sex problems. You bet. My brain, when I was drinking, I wanted nothing but. Okay. I had girl after girl after girl after girl. I was a slut. I thought that sex was going to fill me up. And now my brain to this day still associates the fact that I have to get drunk first before I can have sex. And it's a hard one. And it sucks. It sucks. It's hard, man.
It was just another one of my addictions, and it filled all of those. If it smells good, looks good, tastes good, sounds good, feels good, it ain't enough of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because when you ripped away that alcohol, all of a sudden there was just this raw hormone raging out there. So that's the way it was.
And I overindulged. I did. Couples are occasionally dismayed to find that when drinking is stopped, the man tends to be impotent. I never read that part. Never. I've been doing it 35 years. Never saw it till today.
I'd be impotent in my own mind. I'm a legend.
That's why I'm impotent. I'm so impotent.
A better life through chemicals.
We're laughing about this so that I don't feel so bad and embarrassed. See, that's what we're
doing. Why shouldn't we laugh? We have recovered.
That's right. Right. Unless the reason is understood, there may be an emotional upset. My wife and I have talked about this. I'm willing to talk to her about it. You bet. She's my wife. So we talk about it.
This is sponsor talk.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
I'm just saying.
You could just say all you want. Some of us had this experience only to enjoy in a few months a finer intimacy than ever. There should be no hesitancy in consulting a doctor or psychologist if the condition persists. We do not know of many cases where this difficulty lasted long. Oh no, it's been 8 years. And I was at therapy for it, but my Medicaid got cut off and I haven't had a therapist in 10 months. So I'm hoping to get that back. But here comes the part that we were reading about.
Group therapy right here. Group therapy right here.
No, there's some things here I won't talk about.
No, I know. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But it makes for a great start. Now I'm not holding it inside anymore. And it
cracks open the door.
Yeah. Gives me a little freedom. Well, everybody here I trust, and that helps me a lot. So, this happens for everybody. I'm not off the table for sure. Now, here's the part that we were getting to. The alcoholic may find it hard to reestablish friendly relations with his children. Their young minds were impressionable while he was drinking. Without saying so, they have cordially hate him for what he has done to them and their mother, and I don't blame them. My dogs in the lives to come. Angel, you're so funny. I know it wasn't a joke, but it's still funny. The children are sometimes dominated by a pathetic hardness and cynicism. They cannot seem to forgive and forget. This may hang on for months, long after their mother has accepted dad's new way of living and thinking. In time, they will see that he is a new man, and in their own way, they will let him know it. When this happens, they can be invited to join in morning meditation, and then they can take part in the daily discussion without rancor or bias. From that point on, progress will be rapid. Marvelous results often follow such a reunion. It didn't happen that way for me. I have a great relationship. I'm not, I should say that my relationships with most of my kids are good, and then I have a really good one. Um, but at the same time, I was not a part of their lives growing up, and now they're adults, and I have to be careful because I have this super human complex, and I will put my sticky little fingers in their fucking lives instead of listening. You know, I mean, they're 30 now. I mean, so, um, but my kids are doing good. What I have found out when it comes to my kids is they will do everything that I do, but they will do nothing that I say. So I'd be a good example. I would have to say that my kids and my grandkids are probably my biggest accountability because I don't want none of my grandkids have seen me drunk, and I want to keep it that way. My grandkids love me, and I want them to know that grandpa. They don't need to know the other grandpa.
Yeah, I don't have that with mine, but my daughter was the oldest, and she was 8.5 when I got sober. So a lot of what her two younger ones remember, even her to a lot of extent, or what they think they remember.
Yeah. Yep. Um, yeah, those are very good points. Those are very good points. I had something. I said that because something came in my mind, but it
I
doesn't.
always do that to you.
Huh?
I always pull that out of your mind and throw it in the trash for you. Whatever that thought was.
It's like whatever.
I'm just like I'm just your verbal lobotomy.
Yeah. Well, it bounces off and ends up in the trash. Yeah. Right. And you're in front of me. Right.
And well, sometimes it's like
I'd rather
it's like a boomerang. Sometimes it comes back, 15 minutes later.
Yeah. And I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal
Frontal
lobotomy.
lobotomy.
That's an
Right.
old. Anybody? No, Dr. Demento people here. All right. Angel, I got 9 months sober after my nephew was born. Neither Neo or his sisters ever seen me drunk. Being an auntie is just as important as being a parent, if not more. My favorite auntie, yeah, she can pretty much say anything she wants to me because she's my favorite auntie. So you go.
My Aunt Betty was my second mom. She was the kinder, softer, gentler mom that I didn't have.
Yes. Yeah. Now, my mom has 8 brothers and sisters. Well, she has 7 brothers and another sister. I'm Mormon. Not that that makes a difference, right? And so my aunt's the youngest, but yeah, um, none of those men are in my life. So yeah, but my favorite auntie is, you bet. And if you mess with her, I will mess you up.
Well, I love my kids, Angel. They're just my son is closest. The other two are estranged, as can be.
It's hard because I know that my kids want to be a part of my life, but like my daughter's going through something right now, but she doesn't really want to talk to me, and that's kind of hard. You know,
Because you want to fix it.
Yeah, of course I want to fix it. I'm her dad. Now let's talk about that though. I want to fix it, but I know I can't. I know I can't. But I can be there for her and listen and be when I wasn't before.
That's one of the things that I really put into practice with Ash, not being the fixer.
That's right. You got to zip your fucking lip. I did
sometimes people don't want you to take action.
That's right. I did it to my wife.
That was a hard one.
She was explaining something, and then I started mansplaining, and I stopped in the middle. I said, "I'm mansplaining. I'm going to shut up again now. Go ahead." And she laughed a little bit and went on. Yeah. When it comes to my kids and my family, my mouth has to kind of stay shut because I wasn't available, and I just need to be available, and that's it.
The exception was to the rule was about 2 days ago. My son actually called me for advice.
Well, that's
Had a
different.
deal. Had
Yeah.
a deal going on with one of his kids' teachers, blah blah, with his youngest, and then basically she lied. She's 8. She was supposed to go to she's in math club.
Okay.
I don't know why you do that at 8. That's mental illness all by itself, but just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, she didn't want to go. And so she told the teachers, the what have you, she got on a school bus. Nobody knew she was coming home.
Okay.
And the school bus driver then dropped her off and actually took off, did not wait for somebody to pick her up. Luckily, a neighbor, and they had just moved. His ex just moved, and so they're kind of new in the area.
Yeah. So the
But
kid doesn't know where they're
this mother knew who she was and actually picked her up.
God, that
But
shit.
the
It
school
scares me.
never notified.
Yeah. Ooh,
Not
man.
good.
Not good. No.
And then my youngest granddaughter lied about it. And so he's asking me, what do I do?
Of course she's lying about it.
You're right. I said she's 8.
Yeah. She's absolutely gonna. Yeah.
She's testing those boundaries.
Exactly. Well,
But
she
I
feels
told
like
him,
she did something wrong, and she doesn't want to get
well,
in trouble for
he
something
he was
she didn't do,
he was
man.
also trying to figure out how to discipline that or how to proceed with that. And I said, you include her, you get an agreement with her. If this ever happens again, this is what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
you get her to own that as
Yeah.
being a
To
participant.
to a solution.
So
Yeah.
if it does happen again,
The solution is
we agreed on this.
consequence.
Hmm.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Good job. That's tough love done correctly.
That's a learned thing, and I'm new to it.
Yep.
They weren't raised that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And we weren't raised that way. That's why it's even new to us. Because my parents didn't know either. So, how can I blame them for not teaching me something they didn't know?
Yeah, my mother. We've had that discussion. My mother did not have parenting skills whatsoever. She grew up in basically a convent.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to ask my kids if I'm a good parent. So, while I was on the road to recover, I received a gift that could not be purchased. It was a card from my son in college saying, "Dad, you can't imagine how glad I am that everything is okay. Happy birthday. I love you." I'll fucking cry. The best gift that I gave my mommy, my favorite auntie, all these people that we've been talking about today was sobriety. That they weren't going to get that fucking phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning that I was dead in a ditch. Or worse, that I was in jail because I killed somebody else. That'll keep a parent up all night.
It did
Because I
often.
have kids like that. Oh, Angel. I think that's a great attitude.
Right, and I agree with you, Angel. It's like
Yeah.
I don't ever point the finger at my mom. My mom was a product of whatever she was brought up with. She didn't have the tools. My mother was not a bitch. She was naive.
Correct. Yeah. And that makes her,
And my dad was the buffer.
Yeah. I had to look at my parents like I did everybody else, a child of God. Somebody said something in a meeting about 2 months ago, and it's still sticking with me. And he said, "I give more grace to total strangers than I do my own family."
That's a fact.
I'm like, oh, motherfucker. He is absolutely good. And what an easy, simple way to put it, too. And very plain for an alcoholic.
I had to teach my mother the words "I love you," and to get a response.
Ouch. Yeah.
I was sober. That's how long it took me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would literally look at her and go, "I love you, Mom." And she would look at me weird.
And she'd give you the,
and then one day she said it.
And then one day she said, yeah.
And then one day she initiated it.
Ah. That happened with my son, now that you bring that up. Yeah, it became.
She didn't.
Probably
She
a
learned
little
how. She learned
reason.
how to be a mom with my kids. My kids taught her how to be a mom.
Sometimes I'm learning how to become a better father because of my grandkids. That's a very good point. Off subject, but I went through the 12 steps of ACA and dealt with a lot of stuff. Right, ACA is a great program. I very much like ACA. Yes, ACA deals with a lot of trauma. If you had parents, it's 12-step based, and it's a great program. Adult children of alcoholics. Um,
I didn't have
I
that.
don't even want to start about mothers right meow. Okay, then we won't. Mine hasn't been on my good side since May, and she's still, yeah, you know, yeah, the man that raised me still won't talk to me. He still talks like, he says things like water wagon, and he just doesn't believe I'm sober. Um, yeah, there's always one sticking point. I'm sorry you're going through that Amber.
Yeah, but that's a toughie. Time.
Especially when it's
Time.
yeah. I think time, when it comes to time, the only real reason for it is for other people's trust.
Well,
That's all it really is.
I have a tendency to sabotage myself, and so I can prove them correct
Yeah.
as I stumble through this stuff. And then they get to go, I told you so.
My son had told me that he had loved me before. Yeah, but it wasn't the same. It's handwritten, man. But during the previous Christmas holidays, when he had said to me while crying, "Dad, I love you. Can't you see what you're doing to yourself?" I couldn't. Choked with emotion, I had cried. But this time, when I received my son's card, my tears were tears of joy, not desperation. Yep, I know. I know, Amber. Everybody in my family begged me to get sober. So much that while I was having heart surgery, they pulled my wife into another room and told her to leave me while I was in surgery. I finally got sober. No one wanted anything to do with me.
Right.
What they wanted was a scapegoat. And since I'm no longer the scapegoat, they're even more angry at me. They didn't want me to succeed. They just needed somebody to pick on. And now that I'm not that person and I have strong boundaries, I don't fucking hear from them.
Yeah.
They leave me alone now.
People wanted to be able to control me, and then I got sober, and I handed them their leash back.
Yeah. No. I also have 8 brothers and sisters. And I have 4 brothers and I have 4 sisters. I talk to one sister. That's it. None of them. 4 of them I've never even met. Yeah, I would talk to my biological father. It turned out he had 4 more kids, 3 daughters and a son. None of them knew who I was. And I tried to be friends with them and I tried to get to know them, but they didn't want anything to do with me. And I was sober. Right. So I think I reminded them of their father and they didn't like that, but that's not very fair to me. But I had this thing, because people, and you hear it all the time in the program, oh yeah, I found these people and then we became best friends. And so there was an expectation in my head that was going to happen. So I was very disappointed when they, and 2 of them are in the program too, but want nothing to do with me. It's weird. I ain't doing nothing but be born. So what I did is I came to the program and I found my own brothers and sisters.
Yeah, family don't have to be blood.
Nope. Well, out of 8 brothers and sisters, I'm related to none of them fully. They're all half. So
I didn't have those, so I just recently found my sister.
yeah. Right on. All right. Well, we're 55 minutes. So
That was a good cleansing.
It was. This was a good one, and yeah. She knows I've been working on my Donald Duck. For just now getting it.
The one thing, Amber, the one thing about boundaries, you have to respect your own.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's harder than it says. Like you set that boundary and then you have to respect it because ain't nobody else going to do it for you.
Yep. That's what we were doing at the beginning here when I brought up, hey, this is what's going on with me. I created my own internal boundary that I'm not allowed to cross today. Because otherwise that'll give me a bad attitude. And I got some cool shit going on, man. I'd rather go work on it. You know, I gotta rewrite a script. I gotta do a breakdown for rent and pay, grassroots. And we're gonna call them residents, not clients. Because nobody's a client. Because I'm talking to other people and they'll say client. And I'm like, no.
Clients, patients, inmates, those are no-nos.
Even resident.
Well, no, they are residents.
Yeah.
We could call them denizens.
Maybe that could be the name of the house, Shivering Denizens.
Shivering denizens.
Welcome to our mad realm. Oh. What'll be cool though is when the holidays come around, these guys will do. I mean, we used to turn the Phoenix with Halloween. We turned the Phoenix concept all scary and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
You've seen that picture of me in the diaper, right?
Yeah. At Pier. Were you at Pier 1?
No, I was at right in the big chair, sitting there rocking in my diaper in the big chair.
Yeah, if you don't know what Pier 1 is Fort Logan has a program for recovery. Been around and they're actually tame compared to what they used to be. It's called
compared to Pier 1.
Yep, and if you acted like a child, they would take all your clothes, put you in a diaper, give you a pacifier, and put you in the damn corner. And that's how you got treated. If you acted like a child, they treated you. But it worked.
What was it? What was the name of that? Not Ruth.
People.
It wasn't Ruth Buzzy. It was its wife.
God, you are
on Saturday Night Live. That getting the rocking chair, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
I forget, but Pier 1 had a big old high chair, giant high chair.
Yeah.
And they would sit your ass in it.
Yep.
And not for 5 minutes.
No, it was like the day.
Yeah, and sometimes you wore a sign,
but
and what have you. Yeah,
it worked, and it's still around, and that tells you. But they've calmed down a lot. They still do some of that. I forget what it's called. It's not cognitive behavioral therapy. It's more like a shock treatment kind of a thing.
Well, what was the name of that an original group out of Cali? Synergy.
Yeah, Synergy. That's what they used to be called. Pier 1 Synergy.
Yeah.
So,
but that's a 2-year. That's a 2-year program. Yeah.
Is it? Not surprising. Some of us need 2 years.
It's a 2-year program.
I was 4 years sober that I felt like I could start. Actually, probably later than that, I could start sponsoring. I had too much mental stuff going on. So.
Yeah, I didn't sponsor for a while.
Yeah. We're all different, Some people can start sponsoring at 6. I think that's great. There's nowhere in the book does it say you must meet this requirement in order to sponsor.
I was like, I don't want to be responsible for somebody's life. And my sponsor wanted to bitch slap me. He said, it's not your responsibility.
Right. That's right.
I didn't know that.
No.
What if I screw this up and they go out and drink and die?
And then and that's why you need a guide, because just like your mom was naive, we're very naive. I'm very, very naive. I've always had the cart before the horse. That makes me naive. Yeah. Not stupid, not dumb. Naive isn't bad. It just means you don't know yet. That's all it is.
I'm like a fucking golden retriever. I need a couple years to mature somewhat. And then my wife looks at me sometimes as I'm still a golden retriever puppy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, my bladder's full. Yeah, this is an hour. It never goes an hour. I
Well,
love
you
you
just
all.
did. You can't never say that again now.
Ah.
That'll be like I went an hour once.
I love you.
Love you.
Out.
Bye, ladies.
Bye bye. Okay, we got to end on this first. I'm sorry.
That is so true.
It's all great until you do or say something they don't like or want to hear.